LA the other day, yesterday, with my friend Tavis Smiley. I'm an investor and a supporter of that station. And he said, who do you want for running president? I mentioned, I think you'd be good at the job. Not this year, we know. No, I know. But he said, I don't think he could win. I don't think he could win. He's too progressive coming from this state and what he's done in this state to win in any southern state, any red state. I disagreed, but no, this is a progressive African-American owned station, and I'm sure they like you, but he doesn't think you can win.
And Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear they're unable to respond effectively and responsibly during calamity. Whether it's sheer incompetence or outright malevolence, the reality is stark. California's in a state of turmoil, and I asked my fellow Angelenos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office? How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate?
In Los Angeles, a quiet but revealing conversation took place. When Bill Maher asked who could run for president in 2028, Gavin Newsom's name came up, and the reaction was blunt. Too progressive. Too tied to California's record. In red states and swing regions, Newsom's resume wouldn't sell. Even friendly voices admitted it. That wasn't a conservative attack. It was a reality check from inside the tent.
The law in this, I think we have way too many regulations and laws, as we've talked about, and this one, I think, says if you're a department store with over 500 employees, you have to have a gender-neutral toy department. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it.
So do you think that's silly? Do you think that's a silly thing that we too much government there?
Look, that's an interesting one because the department stores came to us supporting that, and they're the ones making a case for that. They're making a case. They're already moving in that direction.
Wanted you to make a law about them?
Well, but they supported the legislation. It wasn't legislation that was enacted, that was initiated from my office, but it was legislation that came up with interesting support from the industry itself.
4 years. Gavin Newsom has been treated like the Democratic Party's future. Polished, camera-ready, confident. But Bill Maher made one thing clear. California is his resume, and it's not helping him. When homelessness, crime, wildfires, and cost of living dominate headlines, it's hard to pitch leadership as success.
Years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me, let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
Maher zeroed in on what California has become, a state buried under regulations. Laws on top of laws. Red tape choking solutions. Even supporters admit progress feels impossible because government itself has become the obstacle. When fixing problems feels harder than the problems, leadership is failing.
Eventually come out and apologize. If you want to go on Twitter, Rob, and just go to the apology video that he came out eventually. This is, I think, 5 days later. On day one, I asked him, I said, are you going to come out and do this? Watch how he's finally wanting to have his people be responsible. Go ahead, Rob.
If you incite violence, I want to be clear about this. If you incite violence or destroy our communities, you're going to be held to account.
Okay.
That kind of criminal behavior will not be tolerated. Full stop. Already more than 220 people have been arrested, and we're reviewing tapes to build additional cases, and people will be prosecuted.
The wildfires weren't just natural disasters. They were leadership tests. Maher pointed out slow responses, poor preparation, and endless excuses. Californians didn't see urgency. They saw hesitation. And in a crisis, hesitation is remembered long after the smoke clears.
The other day, yesterday, with my friend Tavis Smiley. I'm an investor and a supporter of that station. And he said, who do you want for running president? I mentioned, I think you'd be good at the job. Not this year, we know. No, I know. But he said, I don't think he could win. I don't think he could win. He's too progressive coming from this state and what he's done in this state to win in any southern state, any red state. I disagreed, but no, this is a progressive African-American owned station, and I'm sure they like you, but he doesn't think you can win.
Under pressure, Newsom finally stepped forward. He apologized, days later, then pivoted to tough talk. arrests, accountability, crackdowns. But by then the damage was done. To critics, it didn't feel like leadership. It felt like damage control after public outrage forced his hand.
Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear they're unable to respond effectively and responsibly during calamity. Whether it's sheer incompetence or outright malevolence, the reality is stark. California's in a state of turmoil, and I ask my fellow Angelenos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office? How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to
Maher pressed the uncomfortable question. If Newsom struggles to govern California decisively, how would he manage the entire country? Leadership shows in chaos. And the pattern critics see is clear: bold rhetoric followed by shaky execution.
It doesn't seem to be an organic display of protest. That means that it doesn't have a constituency among regular people. The Los Angeles protesters were fueled by very militant far-left organizations that passed out masks and frozen water bottles and other forms of protection for the protesters. Same thing in New York. This is all organized by the far left, but the people aren't coming out. In fact, on Tuesday night at 9 o'clock in New York, everybody went home. In fact, I guess they were hungry. So this is kind of contrived, and the media hoped it would explode into something more so that Trump would look bad, but that doesn't seem to have been the case.
Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass hasn't escaped blame either. From wildfires to lawlessness, critics argue the city looks leaderless during emergencies. Rising taxes, collapsing public safety, businesses leaving, none of it inspires confidence. Together, Newsom and Bass symbolize a system that talks big but reacts small.
Governor Newsom wanted these demonstrations to explode so he could use that as a political cudgel against Trump and elevate himself into a left-wing candidate for president in 28. And let me back that up. So when you have the police chief of Los Angeles in a press conference saying, we're outmanned, we can't control the violence, the fires on the cars, the throwing objects at our own police and ICE agents, we can't control it. And you don't have the governor immediately sending the National Guard down to help the LAPD, then you know the governor doesn't care or wants it to explode. And that's what I believe Newsom did.
Commentators raised another question. Were the protests truly grassroots? Reports suggested organized far-left groups supplying gear and coordination. Meanwhile, everyday people stayed home. When unrest looks staged and leadership allows it to linger, public trust evaporates fast.
They didn't want it to explode, and it's easier to control it here because the city is so claustrophobic, and the cops know how to do this, and they did a good job. So they didn't give the miscreants a lot of room to set anything on fire or things like that, and you didn't need the federal presence.
Bill O'Reilly contrasted California with New York. When chaos hit, New York moved quickly. Police acted. Order was restored. California waited. Hand-wringing replaced action. And for families and business owners caught in the middle, those delays weren't political. They were personal losses.
Or the notion we just have to continue to talk to ourselves, or we're in the same damn echo chamber. These guys are crushing us. The Democratic brand is toxic right now. We had a high water mark 2 weeks ago, and that was a CNN poll at 29% favorability. It's dropped in the NBC poll down to 27%. It's one thing to make noise, but you also have to make...
By the end, Maher's message was blunt. The Democratic Party is fractured. Favorability is collapsing. Insiders are leaving. And California, once the model, now feels like a cautionary tale. Newsom can smile for national interviews all he wants, but the cracks are visible. California isn't the future. It's the warning.